Hi guys, welcome back. This has been a really long break, so I want to apologise. I've got videos I even filmed while I was pregnant. I think I've got my hospital bag appointment, my hospital bag video, and my baby shower choose my outfit with me video still to post, but life has been hectic, life has been busy, so I'm very behind and I apologise. Please comment below if you still would like me to post those videos. I think I will, because otherwise it's just wasted filming. But if you're still interested to see my hospital bag and my baby shower get ready with me sort of video, then comment below and I'll definitely post it, but I think I will anyway. But yeah, this video is the most exciting one, and this is all about my birth vlog, my birth story. And it's so weird that I'm actually filming it, and I've come into Leondre's bedroom because there's nice light, and the room that we're staying in, the hotel room, the spare bedroom usually, is an absolute mess, newborn life. And I am 2.5 weeks postpartum today, so yeah, baby Lavelle, we've named him Lavelle, is 2.5 weeks. He's literally sleeping in the pram right now. We've just got back from a walk. I quickly come upstairs, put back to the camera and thought, right, I'm gonna film while he's still sleeping. So on Saturday the 12th of August, my mum came to stay on the Friday night before that, and we had eggs and toast in the morning, and Liam was like, oh, these eggs don't look right, just some eggs. And then he took out the eggs he didn't think looked right and then cooked the other eggs. Anyway, that was that. We had egg and toast. And then my mum went home that afternoon. And then that afternoon, about 4 o'clock, I was projectile vomiting, the other end as well, and I was seriously ill. And I couldn't stop being sick, I couldn't hold anything down, I felt really awful. And as I was being sick, obviously I'm contracting at my stomach, that brought on my surges and I went into labour. Very early stages of labour, but I was having surges. So this was on Saturday night and my mum had gone home. My surges came on, but like I said, it was really early days. They were every 10 minutes, they were really mild. But the reason why my surges came on was because I was being sick, which is really strange to say now, because if I was never sick and projectile vomiting, I may have not even had Lavelle by now. It's so weird. But yeah, so I think basically I had a bad egg. I think that's what happened. Because into the night, my surges kept on coming, and I thought, well, if I go into labour tomorrow or something, I want my mum to be here so she can take Dre back to her house. So I called my mum about midnight, 1 a.m. And her and her partner straight away got in their car and drove all the way back to us. And funny enough, she was projectile vomiting as well. So my mum was really ill as well. So I think my mum had one of the bad eggs. Or we just generally had a bug, because me and my mum went to a soft play that morning with Leondre. So we could have caught something from the soft play. But we are putting it down to those eggs, which is horrible. Anyway, so my mum was really ill that night as well. So I'm in the early stages of labour. My mum's really ill. It's just not a good scene. But then in the morning, we're all okay. We're all alright. My mum's feeling a bit better. My surges are still coming on, and me and mum go for a walk. Liam and my mum's partner Lloyd have Leondre for a bit, and it's just sort of more of a chilled Sunday morning by this point. And then after Leondre's nap, my mum and Lloyd take Leondre back to theirs. My surges are coming up really strong, coming more often, becoming a bit more intense. And parts of my mucus plug are starting to come out. So sometimes, your mucus plug, sometimes parts come out in sections, it can come out in sections, or sometimes it all might just come out. Mine was starting just to come out in sections. And then I was sort of trying to lay down, because I was so tired, because throughout the night I hadn't really laid down that much, and I'd been on a walk that morning with my mum and stuff like that, so I was quite tired. So when I tried to lay down though, my surges would decrease and they would sort of stop. I didn't want that to happen, so I was trying to be on my bouncing ball, but I was half asleep. but yeah, so they were starting to increase, and then about 5 o'clock, bit TMI, but it is part of the whole process. I said to Liam, shall we, and he was like, can we? And I was like, yeah, it brings up the oxytocin levels. It's actually quite a good thing to do. So me and Liam, cuddled closely. And after that, after I went to the toilet, my mucus plug came out fully. Like the rest of it, more of like the bloody mucus plug part of it. So I was like, oh, maybe this is like ramped things up a bit, and it sure did. So into the evening, the early evening, 5-6 o'clock, my surges are coming on more stronger, a bit more frequent, and then about 7 o'clock we call our doula. She comes over, she advises that we call the hospital to see if they have a room in the sanctuary for me with a pool, because if they didn't, we weren't going in. So we called them and they did. They had a room available for us, which was so amazing. So we went straight to the hospital and straight to our room, and the lovely midwife, Liv, which I think her name was Olivia, greeted us with a lovely smile, and we went into the room and it was beautiful. I'll insert some pictures and videos as well. And as soon as we got into that room, the doula started to set up. She put out candles, even like in the bathroom area, because I kept on going to the toilet. When you're in labour, if you know, you know. And she put like this lavender scent on me so I could like smell it. She like stuck something to my top, and then so I could like smell it. And she put something on Liam, and she like got the birth plan up for the midwife, and it was just lovely, like really lovely. My surges again still coming on nice and like coming on more frequently, getting stronger. And then it must have been, I was just surging in the room. I didn't really want to get into the pool too early because I knew once I was in that birth pool I would not want to come out, and that's where I wanted to be having the veil. So I sort of tried to stay out of the pool for as long as I could. So I was just sort of labouring around the room. I was on the on the labour stool, sorry, and sort of labouring on there. And I was using a wave comb. If no one has used a wave comb, if you're planning for an unmedicated vaginal birth, if you need some sort of something, definitely recommend the wave comb. I was literally holding on to that for dear life throughout labour. And yeah, like the doula put on my Freya counting music, which was really, really calming. And then every time a surgery would come, I'd just say, yep. And then Liam would press the button, and then the Freya app would count my breathing for me. So I just followed that. So it was really nice. That's by the Positive Birth Company, by the way. And yeah, so I just was labouring into the night. And then I don't know what time it was, maybe about 11, half 10, 11 at night. My midwife was like, right, 2 doctors are here. They want to come and say hello because they've just come onto their shift. Hopefully you won't see them, but if anything was to happen or whatever, these will be your doctors. And I was like, okay, they're just coming in to say hello. That's fine. And they came in. I was literally in the corner. My doula and Liam were like on the other corner by the bed. And I was in the corner having a surge. And then after I had my surge, they're like, hello, we're blah, blah, blah. And they sort of cornered me. Like there was 2 doctors like in my face. We just wanted to come to you to talk about your previous birth, and the previous weight of your firstborn, and what your experience was like, and just let you know the risks associated with, you going for a vaginal birth after C-section, unmedicated, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm in labour. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, this is so unnecessary. It's got nothing to do with my choices right now. What are you doing? It's unethical. Like, I'm in labour and you're coming in to try and talk to me about risks, which I've heard 1,000 times from midwives, consultants, from other doctors. Like, you don't need to come in and relay to me again the risks associated with what I'm doing. So that was really strange, and I felt like I was being cornered, and I was like, what's going on? The midwife looked a bit like, because she didn't know that they were going to come in and say all that. And then another surge came on for me before I could even like reply to them. And during that surge, Liam went up to one of the doctors and was like, what are you doing? My wife's in labour. She's not changing her plan. This is her plan. I think you should leave. And the doctor was like, you want us to go? And he was like, yeah, I do. And that was that. So then when I finished my surge, the doctor was like, we're going to go now. I was like, okay. And actually after we had, after the birth, we had a debrief with the doula, and she said that she was literally about to message Liam or just say to him, like, do you want me to say something? While they were cornering me. But by the time that she even come around to like attempt to do that, Liam had already got on his feet and was talking to the doctors. But yeah, so that was a bit of a weird interruption to the whole labour. And by this point, I'd gone over 24 hours of being in labour. I was definitely in more of a, is it established labour? Yeah, by this point. And it was just unnecessary, really unnecessary. And I think for some reason that sort of sparked me, like, right, I want to see what I am, like how dilated I am in my head. So about midnight, the midwife did a check on me, because I'd been avoiding that for ages, because I didn't want to be checked and then she'd be like, oh, you're just this, and then that made me feel crap and and so I just avoided being checked for as long as I could. But then about midnight, I was like, I want to know what I am. And then she checked me and I was 4 centimetres. And I was like, oh. And that really got to me, to be honest. I thought I would have been like 6 or 7 by the way that I was feeling. But I mean, this labour hadn't come on naturally. It come on because I was being sick, because I was so ill. It wasn't like initiated by Lavelle at all. It was initiated because of my I was contracting while I was projectile vomiting. Like the labour hadn't come on naturally. And I was like, right, okay. And then I was like, I'm going to get in the birth pool. I'm going to get in there. So I got in at 4 centimetres, because I think that's the minimum that, like, dilation that you're allowed in. But she said, like, you know, your cervix is so ready, you know, you're in a really good position. It can go from 0 to 100 now, so, you know, just be prepared. And I was like, do you know what? Fair enough, because I laboured for 9 hours and I got to 10 centimetres with Leondre within 9 hours. Obviously, this had taken longer because it didn't come on naturally, and yeah, so that was that. So I got into the birth pool, and as soon as I got in, my surges really started to slow down. I think it was because I was so relaxed almost, and I was just loving the water. I don't know, but my surges did slow down slightly, and then I went through a phase for like an hour and a half where I was just so tired. Like it had been like, what, 28 hours by this point, and I was physically, mentally so tired, so drained. Like my brain was like gone, my body was so tired, and yeah, and I was just like saying to Liam constantly, like, I am so tired, like I don't know how I'm gonna do this, like I'm tired. And then my doula just said something to me. She said, look, enjoy this moment, these moments of stillness and these moments of quiet and tiredness and all of this, because all it means is that your body's preparing you to save energy for something amazing that's going to be happening soon. And I thought, you know what, that's a really nice way to look at it. The reason why I'm so tired, I need some rest right now, is because my body is about to go through something incredible, but also something very energy useful, if that's not the word, but you know what I mean. So I was sort of preserving energy for this event that's going to be happening at the end of all this labouring. So yeah, so I was just sort of being fed grapes and chocolate almonds and just chilling and feeling very tired, and I'll insert some clips, but like I was just sort of just dancing in the pool basically, like just waving my body side to side, and yeah, and then things started to ramp up. So about 1:30, 2 o'clock, my surges were just becoming really intense, really strong, and then I was like, yeah, it's the transition is about to happen, like the transition is coming, it's coming, it's coming. And all I could focus on was thinking from the naked doula, floppy face, floppy fanny. I was just trying to relax my face as much as I could. I was holding onto my wave comb, and I was just really trying to breathe and just focus on that. And from about 2:30, I could feel that his head was starting to come down, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. And I was like, I can't do this. And apparently it's very normal in labour, especially when you start to go through the transition stage, where you start to think, I can't do this, no, this baby's not coming out. And this is exactly what's going through my mind. I was like, oh my God, this is all I've ever wanted, and I don't think I can do this. Like, no, push the baby back up, let's get the baby out another way, no, I can't do this. But then I thought and then you come back to reality, and I was like, no, Jess, this is what you want, this is all you've ever wanted, you can and you will do this. And as his head was pushing down, my waters broke, and for some reason I flipped out. I was like, oh my God, my waters have just broke, oh my God. And I like come out of my calm breathing stage, and I was like in a bit of a panic. And then my doula was like, come back to us, Jess, come back. And my midwife was like, breathe, go back to your breathing. And I was like, because it was such a weird sensation, because my waters broke first with Leondre, and they sort of come in stages, whereas this was real, like a pop. And I was like, oh my God, the waters are broken. And then, yeah, I was like a bit of a whale in the pool, like, oh my God. And then they're like, come back, like, don't lose sight of what's going on. And then I come back to my breathing. Trust me, hypnobirthing and breathing and understanding everything that's happening during labour really helped my mindset. So I really do recommend and suggest, if you're wanting a vaginal birth, definitely go and do some training within hypnobirthing, because it's amazing. We did it with Leondre's when I was pregnant with Leondre, and we've done it when I was pregnant with Lavelle, and it literally was a godsend and got me through this Vbac. And then, yeah, from about 2:30 until 3:15, I was pushing his head out. So I was pushing for a while, pushing for about 45 minutes, and I could just feel his head coming down for a surge, and then it would go back up, and then it would go down for a surge, and then come back up. And every time it came down, I could feel his hair, and that was the most surreal thing ever. To feel his hair like coming out, and then it like would go back in, and then it would come out and go back. It was just insane. And then every push, I was like, right, this is the last one. This is going to be the last one. Make it count. And I would really go for it. But then he'd go back up, and I was like, no, it's fine, you're just easing him out, you know, it's going to be nicer on your parts, and but yeah, it took me about 45 minutes. Lavelle was a tiny 5-pound 4 baby, so I had like no weight, I had like no gravity, so I feel like my body was literally doing all the work. But yeah, so I was pushing for about 45 minutes, and I could feel his hair and his head, and then he came out, and he sort of came out from behind me, and the midwife brought him round to me, and it was the most beautiful, surreal, perfect moment, and I'm so blessed that happened, and I'm so lucky, and I feel so proud and privileged that I got that birth experience after such a traumatic birth with Leondre. And I can't thank my husband and my doula enough for the support they gave me, and that amazing midwife Liv as well. And yeah, so Liv put him on my chest, and we just cuddled, and I kept on saying, we did it, because I really feel like me and Lavelle were like a team. Like, this is the birth that we want, more so what I want, because Lavelle doesn't have a clue what's going on, but this is the birth that I want. We're gonna make it happen together, we're a team. So I was just like, we did it. And then we got out the pool, and then Liv was like, right, so what's gonna happen? We're gonna sit here for a while to see if your placenta comes out. So I got onto the birthing stool, or the labour stool, whatever you call it. It's like a semicircle, and you just sit on it, but it's really nice on your hips. And she was like, yeah, we're just going to sit here, wait for a while to see if your placenta comes out. And she's sort of telling me this as I'm getting out the pool. And as soon as I sit down on the birthing stool, my placenta just falls out. And she was like, yeah, and then, oh, there it is. And then my doula was fantastic. She got that sorted and taken, because obviously I had my placenta encapsulated and put into tincture by Placenta Plus. So my doula sorted all of that out. So my placenta was put into like a frozen bag, and then it was collected by Placenta Plus within 30 minutes. And then they took it and did what they did with it. And now I eat my placenta every day through a gummy and tincture, which is fantastic. And my midwife came and showed me my placenta and spoke to me about what was what, and you know, and it was fantastic. But as soon as my placenta fell out, we sort of sat there for a bit, and I was then starting to feel very uncomfortable down there. And I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. And we waited for the cord to turn white, so Lavelle got all the nutrients, and Liam cut the cord, which was really beautiful. And then me and Lavelle made our way up to bed, and he literally latched onto the boob straight away. This boy was not messing. And he still don't mess. He's 2.5 weeks old, and he still don't mess around. He loves the boob. But yeah, so we got into the bed, Lavelle latched on, and then my legs put in the, what are they called? Stirrups? Oh my god, I feel like I'm saying that so wrong. Anyway, they were put up to get stitched. I had a very small tear. They even said, they're like, to be fair, we could just leave it, but because it is trickling with blood, we're going to stitch it up anyway. But yeah, so I was stirrups. Oh god, that's going to really annoy me. So I had Lavelle on the boob, my legs are up, and then the two midwives. Liv was stitching me, and then she had a midwife overlooking her work, and her name, funny enough, was Loveleen. So we had Lavelle on my boob, and Loveleen was overlooking Liv, the midwife. So it was really weird. I was like, I've never heard of anyone called Loveleen. Like, your name begins with love, and so does my son. Like, this is all meant to be. And she was really lovely as well. So then Liv stitched me up. Lavelle was on the boob, and I was like, Liv, I need something, because I feel like so uncomfortable and so like, just, she's like, would you like a bit of gas and air? And I was like, yes. So I had a bit of gas and air, and I loved it. I don't care. I mean, I know I had a unmedicated, no pain relief labour and birth, but I mean, I needed that gas and air at that point afterwards, and it was great. And so I had some gas and air while she was stitching me up, while Lavelle was on my boob. I was like, ooh. And yeah, so did that, and then Liv was like, right, you can actually stay in here for 6 hours if you want. Like, if you want to stay here, you can for a bit. And I was like, amazing. And my doula was like, they never let you stay here for that long afterwards. I was like, amazing. So we sort of just like laid, and then Liam, bless him, was like, I am effed. I am tired. So he went and laid down. And my doula was like, I think that by this point it was like 5:30 in the morning. And my doula was like, I'm here for you until you need, but you know. And I was like, do you know what, you can go. Like, we're fine. So then that was that, and then around 6 a.m, 6:30, we were told that we were being taken up to the labour ward, the labour ward, because of Lavelle's birth weight. They wanted just to double check everything, and they were like, you'll be here for a couple of hours, like, you won't be here very long, let's get you up there, let's get you ready. So they wheeled me up, and then we got up there and they were doing some checks on Lavelle, and then the midwife was like, right, yeah, so over the next 3 days while you're here, and we're like, pardon? And then she was like, yeah, so you're going to be here for 3 days so we can keep doing the checks, make sure he's putting on the weight, make sure it's got nothing to do with some blah, blah. And I was like, hold up, we were told we were going to be here for a few hours, not a few days. And they're like, no, we want you here till Thursday. So obviously Lavelle was born on the Monday morning at 3:15, or 3:17 to be precise. So they wanted us there till Thursday, and I was like, no, like, I've got a toddler. I'm not staying here for that long. Anyway, they did some more checks. Lavelle was he was fine, he was feeding fine, he was weeing, pooing fine. And then just over the course of the Monday and the Tuesday, yeah, they were doing loads of checks, and I was sort of fighting my corner, really. Obviously Lee was with me on the Monday and throughout Monday day, and then he was with me Tuesday evening, but then Tuesday evening Liam got a bug and well, actually I say he got a bug. I don't know if he got a bug or if he was just being a greedy monster and ate too much food, because that night we had a Domino's and then he got loads of treats, and Liam just inhales his food, like he doesn't even bite, like he just inhales it. And I think he ate too much too quickly and so much rubbish, because we hadn't eaten properly since like the Friday, and I don't know if that affected his stomach, and then he was sick and he had diarrhea in the hospital. And the midwife could hear him being sick and was like, your husband needs to go. And I was like, yes, that's fine. So Liam ended up going home at midnight or something, from the hospital. So then the next day I was like, I really, this was Monday night. Monday night that he was ill. And then Tuesday I was like, I just want to go home. I'm like fighting my corner with the consultant, with the doctor, the midwife. Lavelle's fine, like he's absolutely fine. The reason why he's a small birth weight is because I just produce small babies. Like Leondre was under 6 pounds. Leondre was £5.13. Lavelle, yeah, no, quite small, 5'4", but it's pretty normal for, like, that's just me. I think I just produce small babies. They're like, you know what, we agree with you. Before they were trying to say something like they want to put glucose in his mouth and then like give him sugar or do like a glucose test, and I'm like, no, he's literally just come out of the womb. You're not putting sugar in my newborn's baby's mouth. Anyway, that was that. And they were like, yeah, don't, because I thought that, they were like, okay, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, that's really bad, because what if there are some parents out there, because I know one of my friends had a very similar experience and they did put glucose in their baby's mouth. What if, especially if I was a first time mum and I hadn't had experience or done much research about these things, I would have been like, yeah, do whatever you've got to do, like make sure he's okay, like do whatever you've got to do. And but because I fought my corner and I understood the process and what they were going to do, and I said, you're not doing that, and I stood up for me and Lavelle, they're like, actually, yeah, no, we won't, we don't need to do that. And I'm like, not really happy with the way that your processes go. Anyway, that was that, and they basically said they were happy to let me go Tuesday afternoon. So Tuesday afternoon we got discharged. Liam couldn't come into the labour bit because obviously he'd been so ill, but he was absolutely fine by the afternoon. I think he literally just ate too much rubbish in the evening. He came to get us and we went home, and it was so surreal. And then we had our first night as a family. Well, our first night with Lavelle here. Leondre was still at my mum's, which was horrible, by the way. Leondre was there for 3 nights, and I've never had him away from us that long. And we missed him like crazy, and we were like, oh my god, it's been too long, like should we get him back Tuesday? But we're like, no, we need to settle Lavelle and we need to come back and make sure everything's nice and ready for Dre on Wednesday. Anyway, so we came back on the Tuesday afternoon, and yeah, it was just lovely. We're all home, and it was really nice for me because I felt I'm mobile, I'm walking, I can I could pick things up, I can do things. Post C-section, emergency C-section with Leondre, I couldn't walk for 10 days. I couldn't do a lot. We had to stay downstairs because I literally couldn't even go up and down the stairs to brush my teeth. So I had to bring everything into the downstairs toilet when I had my emergency C-section with Leondre. Like, I was so immobile, I couldn't even go on his first walk with him. But like, I'm walking around the hospital as soon as I give him birth to Laval. Like, it was just insane. Like, the recovery of vaginal birth compared to a C-section, you can't compare them. You can't, because obviously C-section is a very different operation. It's a different process of having a baby, but wow, yeah, I feel so much better having a vaginal birth compared to having the emergency C-section with Leondre, mentally and physically. But yeah, and then Leondre came back on the Wednesday morning after his breakfast with my mum, and it was just the most magical experience seeing him meet his little brother and seeing them together. And the first thing you want to do was like give him a cuddle, and yeah, it was all beautiful. And then we had our first night as a family of 4 on the Wednesday evening, and went for a walk on the Wednesday. Like, I gave birth on Monday and I was walking on Wednesday like to the park. Like, what the does, like, that just seems so surreal to me compared to obviously my experience postpartum with Leondre. And yeah, it was just lovely, and I'm so grateful that I got the birth that I wanted, and I'm so glad I'm proud of myself that I fought for that birth, because I knew it was doable and I knew I was capable. They asked me if I wanted a cannula in my hand when I was in the sanctuary. My doula told me about the risks and benefits, and it still is technically classed as an intervention, and I was like, no, I don't. And yeah, I just feel like really proud and grateful and blessed that I got that experience, and yeah, I'm just so happy, really. But I'm now going to go through a few questions I got on Instagram about my birth, because I wanted to make sure I covered things. But if you do have any other questions, put them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. But yeah, right, let's go to my phone and look at these comments from Insta. Okay, so one of the questions is, how does the doula work? Guys, I would highly recommend a doula, more so, especially if you're anxious about birth. I mean, I know I wasn't anxious about the whole experience. My concern was more about being protected from the hospital, like the midwives and the doctors and stuff, because I'd had such a bad experience and with Leondre that I had a negative outlook towards the hospital that I was going to be giving birth in. And how the doula works is that she can basically help anxious parents to be with their mindset towards birth and things like that, but also they can help other sort of parents like myself who may have had a traumatic birth the first time and want to go for a Vbac the next time, or they want to go for a cesarean but they still need that support, or they want more support for the birth partner. I mean, the doula was an absolute dream for Liam, because Liam didn't have to think about setting up the room and sorting out my placenta and doing this and doing that. Like, Liam could literally just focus on me and him supporting me during labour. And then what was really nice was that the doula even gave him breathing exercises to do if he ever felt a bit panicky, and he did actually use those breathing exercises when I was pushing, because he was like, when's this baby coming? Like, the head, like, she's been pushing for a long time. And Liam actually got a bit panicky while I was pushing out the head, and he used those breathing techniques that the doula gave to him. Then she gave us 2 postnatal sessions. One was more like a debrief about the traumatic birth with Leondre, but we didn't go too much into it, but we did talk about it. The second was preparing for Lavelle's birth and the birth plan, and making sure she was right on track with everything we wanted. And then obviously she was there throughout the birth, the labour and the birth. And then she also came around the other night to do a debrief on on the birth, and she brought us some chicken broth healing soup, which is amazing. And she's also given us a few hours of whatever we want. So she'll go do a food shop, or she'll come round and look after Leondre, or she'll come round and hold Lavelle while I go and have a nap, or whatever we need her to do, washing, cleaning. She's got a few hours in the bank for us for that. So, but I mean, generally a doula just protects you and is a guide and is a person that can be there to do anything you want. Like, she was about to give me a foot massage at one point, like during labour. They can, you know, however you want your labour to go and what you want to be happening, they can do that for you. And I just feel like the doula was a great investment for us, more so just for peace of mind and safety around the hospital. And yeah, just general, like her saying, right, make sure they're going to have a room for you because we're not going unless they do. And her describing to me the risks and benefits of a cannula. And just her setting up the room and just being there, just being present, really gave me and Liam peace of mind. And I would highly recommend a doula if you've had a traumatic birth or you feel scared about giving birth. They are an investment, but I mean, you give birth a few times if you're lucky in your life. It's a big event, it's massive. And yeah, it was amazing. I really appreciate her being there. Your experience finally getting the birth you wanted. My experience finally getting the birth I wanted was everything and more. I mean, I can't believe it. I still can't believe it happened. I'm so grateful, I'm so proud, I'm so blessed. I just feel enlightened by the whole experience, and it's going to be something I will treasure forever. How hypnobirthing course supported your birth. The hypnobirthing course was just insane. I mean, I did two. I did the Naked Doula and I did the Positive Birth Company, and both of them are amazing. I will link them both below their Instagram so you can go check them out. And it just literally sets your mindset up for birth. Like, it makes you look forward to giving birth. It makes you understand what's going on. It makes you understand and concentrate on your breathing and connect more with what's going on. And yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend hypnobirthing. Even if you maybe, I don't know, even if you're going for a C-section, I think you can still do it. I mean, I know it's not like you're not planning to go through the labour experience if you're going to go for a planned C-section, but I'm pretty sure you can still do hypnobirthing even if you've got like an elected C-section. Look into that, but I would highly recommend hypnobirthing as well, especially if you want an unmedicated birth. When did you call your doula to come over or meet you at the hospital? Yeah, so she came over to the house first, like I said, about 6:30, 7 I think it was, and then we made our way to the hospital after that. But she came to the house first, and then she got herself a taxi home, bless her. And it was really lucky because our doula only lives like 5 minutes around the corner. So yeah, so it was really lucky that she was so close because she was here like in an instant. She wanted to make sure we can go to the hospital together because she, sorry if you can hear drilling, that's obviously my husband doing some sort of work around the house that he likes to do all the time. But yeah, so the doula wanted to make sure she was in the car with us just in case I needed her support in the car. And also just in case Liam couldn't find parking, because the parking at the hospital, and I'm sure at many hospitals, is terrible. So if Liam needed to park up and I needed to get out to go into the sanctuary, she could come with me and be with me. So that was the reasons why she wanted to come in the car with us. How many centimetres were you when you got to hospital? Did you feel labour was fast this time? So obviously labour was slower this time, and that's probably because it wasn't initiated by baby, it was initiated by sickness. So my whole labour in total was like 30 hours or something. And then I don't know what it was when I got there. I don't know what dilation I was when I got there, but I wouldn't have been a lot, I don't think, or maybe I was at 4 centimetres for a while. But yeah, I mean, like I said, she checked me at like midnight and I was 4 centimetres then, even though I felt like I should have been like 6 or 7. But like I said, like I went from 4 centimetres at midnight, 3:15, so 3 hours, I went from 4 to 10. So I guess that's quick. But yeah, so I don't know what I was when I arrived at the hospital, because I just wanted to avoid being checked for as long as I could. What techniques did you use through birth? So my techniques that I used through birth was movement, breathing, and my wave comb really helped. And that was literally it. The breathing, squeezing my wave comb, and movement. That really helped me. I didn't really say too many positive affirmations until the transition started to happen. I didn't really use any other sort of techniques, to be honest. I did have a TENS machine ready, but I didn't use that. And that was it, really. That was it. I would definitely just recommend hypnobirthing for the breathing and to help count you the Freya app. Guys, I am so happy because Lavelle seems to still be asleep and I've managed to record this whole video. How amazing is that? But yeah, thank you for watching. Oh, sorry, I'm getting pins and needles. Thank you for watching this video. And if you stayed to the end, you're an OG. And I hope that this gave you some light and some, what's the word? Inspiration and empowerment to go for the birth that you want, especially if you've done your research and you understand what you want to do and what your body is capable of, then go for it. Like, I know doctors and midwives have to cross the T's and tick their forms and go through the processes of telling you risks and everything associated with choices, but I do think birth is such a beautiful and magical thing, and the way that it all panned out for me was just so special, and I wouldn't want to have that taken away from anyone else. If you want that and you deserve that birth, like, I would hate that to be taken away from you, from like being told all the risks constantly by doctors and then not understanding that you can do it. And yeah, because originally the doctors wanted me to go into the labour ward, like in a hospital room with a cannula in my hand, constantly monitored with something around my stomach, and I was almost going to say yes to that. And after doing research, speaking to my doula, I decided that I can go into the sanctuary. I want to be intermittently monitored, and I don't want a cannula. And yeah, I just told them what I wanted, and that was that. And I got what I wanted, and I got the birth I wanted safely. So yeah, I think with birth, especially your second, if you've had a traumatic first, research is everything, and know what you're capable of doing and understanding your body and trust in yourself, because that's what I did. And yeah, I just feel really happy that I got this magical experience, and me and Liam have got this beautiful baby boy and this memory that we're going to treasure together forever, because we were determined to have this birth. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this birth story. If you've got any questions, put them down below. I'll be happy to answer. And thank you for everyone who supported me throughout my pregnancy. It was like, I really hope you get the birth you want. I really hope you get the birth that you want, because those words, even you guys just saying that, more so like people on Instagram, like, you don't understand, that meant so much. So thank you for like being in my corner, because it hasn't gone unnoticed. Anyway, that's it. That's the end of the vlog. Well, it's not a vlog. That's the end of the birth story. Hope you enjoyed, and I can't wait to try and be back a bit more continuously. But newborn life and a toddler is crazy, guys. It's crazy. So once I've adjusted a bit more, hopefully I'll be back with you guys more often. And yeah, can't wait to see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.